Hello, and welcome to this episode of the EMS Spotlight. I'm Eric with EMSNOW. EMS Spotlight is a series we do where we speak to EMS executives about their companies, the industry in which they operate, which of course is the EMS industry. My pleasure today to have Kathy Thomson, Chief Commercial Officer with Kimball, on board with us. And Kimball, of course, was ranked, I believe it was ranked number 38 on our listing of Global 100. Based on 2025 interviews. So a large global EMS company that Kathy's going to tell us more about. So Kathy, welcome. Thanks for taking time to join me, and maybe begin by introducing yourself and give us an overview of Kimball.
Sure, Eric, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Kathy Thomson, as you said, Chief Commercial Officer here at Kimball Solutions. And we are celebrating 65 years of serving our customers. So we focus on durable electronics that require high reliability and very strict regulatory requirements. So we serve the medical, industrial, and automotive markets. And that spans three major regions, which is North America, Asia, and Europe. So, yeah.
Excellent. Before we get into a lot of that stuff, let me just, the name change, right? So recently Kimball, who we always knew as Kimball Electronics, is now Kimball Solutions. I think that was announced July, so just last month. Tell me kind of the motivation behind that.
Sure. It's really a reflection of the company that we have evolved to, that we really are today. It's a better representation of who we are. We started out 65 years ago as a piano manufacturer, evolved into electronics with the organs, and we've really evolved since then. I would say that we're an integrated manufacturing solutions provider. We've evolved much further. EMS continues to be our foundation and our base, but we've got many products today that do not even have any electronics in them. Of course, our CDMO products, there are many medical products that are disposable that don't have electronics in them. We help customers solve very complex business problems that include engineering, supply chain, many different facets of the business that have evolved beyond just electronics. So we thought this was a better representation of who we've become.
And as I understand, it started with two of the U.S. facilities, the name change, and now we'll just roll out over the next year or whatever the time period is throughout the global footprint.
You are right. We've got the Indianapolis facility has changed over to Kimball Solutions. Our headquarters has, and our Jasper location, Jasper Manufacturing. And then we do have a timeline for each of our locations to change over, all of them being complete by, I think it's July 1st of 27.
Okay, perfect. Now you mentioned in there as you were talking to, I wanted to get into that a bit. I see it on the website is called CMO, but you called it CDMO, right? So contract design manufacturing, I'm assuming, or device. What's the D?
The D is contract development.
Okay.
Yep. So that really comes from, we really help our customers co-develop products, especially in that medical CDMO space. It's contract development manufacturing services. Yeah.
Okay. And that's only in the medical space do you do this currently?
That's where the terminology, we co-develop in EMS as well, but that's the terminology that really resonates in that med tech pharma space. And we wanted to make sure that we're relevant in the market space, and we're using similar technology so that it resonates with the market.
Okay. Good. So you mentioned the global rollout. So I see it's still 8 facilities globally, 2 in the US, Mexico, Netherlands, Poland, Romania, China, and Thailand, I believe it is. So very nice global footprint. So tell me about the customer base. Are these primarily kind of US based ones that you're serving in those areas? Are they global customers headquartered in other countries as well?
Sure. Our customers are they're multinational global companies that can be headquartered here in the US, Asia, Europe. Yeah, we serve the globe.
Okay. And then you had mentioned the sectors already, the 3 main ones. And the industrial one's always an interesting one because that seems to be where traditionally, if it didn't fit neatly anywhere else, we shoved it into industrial. So within that, what type of products are you doing?
Yeah, so the type of products that we focus on are really those. I think they fit really nicely with our other two verticals. I think there's synergies there. We really focus on the high durability that needs high reliability. They're in really harsh environments. There's some, stricter regulatory environments requirements that they have. So when I think about some of the industrial, the off-highway equipment that we serve, many of their requirements are similar to the automotive business that we serve, right? So that works very well for us.
Okay. And then I noted too, you have the new medical facility in Indianapolis.
Yes, we've got an old facility that we are moving into the new facility that you've probably seen, that we've highlighted. Yep, we opened that grand opening was in February.
Yeah.
So we're in the process of it, it's all medical, so we've got to have that really sequenced and timing right with our
Yeah.
customers.
Yeah. One of the things I have to say that I've always appreciated about a Kimball, and I looked at the latest fourth quarter kind of, the announcement, right? The quarter, without getting into the numbers, people can look those up. What always strikes me is fiscal discipline, right? As I look through there and as I read it, and I'm just going to say a couple real quick, it's like 10th consecutive quarter of positive operate, right? I mean, lowest level of debt in over 4 years, best cash conversion days in 17 quarters. So it really speaks to that kind of fiscal discipline that I think has always been core to who Kimball is and how they manage their business.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's foundational. So if you think about our guiding principles, starts with our customers, right? Then
Mm-hmm.
our people that make our company, the environment is our home, and then profits are our ultimate measure. We have to be a profitable company so that we can continue to serve our customers in the long term and de-risk, right? Our customers increasingly are needing to manage the risk in their supply chain. We don't want to be one of those risks.
Yeah, well said. Yeah. And lastly, before on your thing, I noticed you did do the acquisition. Was that in July? What is it? I'm going to mispronounce it. Helvoet Polymer Technologies.
Helvoet, yep, July 1st.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's
Yep.
injection molding, but of high precision components,
High
right?
precision injection molding, yes. Yep.
Okay. And so that,
Microfluidics. So it's very complementary to what we do in Indianapolis, and it also expands some of our capabilities in those microfluidic space,
mhm.
and the high precision. So there's really good synergies happening from the first week of the acquisition. So we're working very well together. We saw some very complementary customers, capabilities that we can leverage, and certainly footprint. So they've got customers that are looking for US footprint, and we've got customers looking for European footprint. So
Perfect.
it's been fun
Ah,
so far.
oh, good, good. So tell me then, what distinguishes you then in the EMS market? I mean, what do you think your kind of core competitive differentiator? As obviously you're the chief commercial officer. You're out there promoting it all the time.
Absolutely. And the first thing I always start with, Eric, I've been in the business for 25 years. So
Mhm.
um, for me, it's really about our culture that sets us apart. Many of us have similar equipment, right, in
Mhm.
buildings, but
Yeah.
what differentiates us is how we go about execution of that work for our customers,
Mhm.
starting with our customers and long-term relationships. We are in this business. I think 70% of our customers have been with us for over 10 years. So we are definitely in the long haul. And being a service provider, we're only in this business to serve customers.
Mhm.
And what makes our company is our people. We've got great people. And sustainability has been a part of our operating model since the inception. When we were building pianos, the founders were replacing, I don't know if it was 5 or 10 trees, so don't quote me on that, for every one that was taken down for a piano. So that continues to permeate through our company. And then profits being the ultimate measure. We absolutely have to be profitable to make sure that we're in the business the long term for our customers. So that is what I would say would be number one differentiator for sure. As I'm out in the market, then I think that how we approach the complexity of the market's issues that we're facing,
Hmm.
that continue to get more complex. I think how we go about thinking about that and solving them with our customers is really creative and just roll up our sleeves and we get after it.
Hmm.
And then the last I would say is we're just continuing to expand our capabilities in looking at where is the market going, where are our customers going, looking out that 5 and 10 years, and where do we need to make sure that we can solve those problems with our customers and grow with them.
Yeah. Very good. No, I appreciate that. So flip this a bit, change in a different direction here. I'm always, OEMs never like speaking publicly, so I always have to ask EMS about the OEM side of the business. So how do you see the OEMs kind of needs and expectations kind of changing? And related to that, what additional capabilities are they starting to ask for?
Well, I would say that, where I see it evolving to in starting out in the business about 25 years ago, really heavy focus on labor and manufacturing costs. That really hasn't changed. That
Yeah.
continues to be foundational and very important. But I think that the relationship with OEMs and our customers and their need for us is becoming much more strategic in nature. Like when we talk about, the supply chain and the resiliency needed there, and how do we de-risk our business, and not just supply chain, but in a number of different areas. We talked about the profitability of Kimble, right? How do our customers de-risk their supply chain? And quality is absolutely, with the type of business that we work on, much of it's life-saving, so quality has to be very, very high, and our quality systems that we have in place ensure that that happens for our customers. And the regional footprint that we have is important to our customer. Our
Mhm.
customers would like to have fewer suppliers, so the footprint that we have, I think, serves our customers well. Over half
Mhm.
of our customers we have today are in more than one Kimball facility. So, and then the speed and engineering and scalability, it just really has become much more strategic in nature, than it has in the past.
Yeah. So, are there any new services that are becoming more? I hear a lot about the engineering. You talked about the development, right? Piece of that. Are OEMs looking to engage more fully than they have traditionally with their EMS partners?
For sure.
Mm.
Absolutely. So engaging much earlier and trusting us with more of the development and the design as well. We're
Mhm.
seeing more and more of that outsourcing and partnering, I would call it. I wouldn't even call it outsourcing. I would definitely call it more of a partnership.
Mhm. Um, so, what are the challenges that they're bringing to the tables these days, or more frequently, I should say? And then, how do you position yourself to address those?
Sure. So the challenges are definitely managing the complexity of the products are becoming more and more technical with the connectivity, AI. We're seeing much more of that, and how we're addressing that. We've got engineering services to help them solve some of those problems and co-develop and co-design with them, and in some cases design for them, because we've got so many resources available that have seen a vast number of types of issues to solve, that sometimes
Mhm.
we can look at things a little bit differently than our customers that may have just seen it from one perspective of their product line. So that's how we've been addressing that. Resiliency is absolutely critical right now. So supply chain issues are popping up all the time. We're dealing with wars, we're dealing with logistics issues, and parts that become on a blacklist overnight. And we've
Mhm.
got to deal with these situations and allocation of components, right? So we work with our customers constantly about what is the right supply chain model for them, and how do we manage through the variability that they may have. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and speed is. I was just at a customer this week, and that has always been um, a major factor, but speed is increasingly becoming more and more of a differentiator for our
Mhm.
customers. So
Yeah.
speed to market, and do they have the product available when something happens? They'll be first there to be able to serve the market. So speed
Mhm.
is definitely one of those challenges that we work with them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And as I hear you say that, I'm thinking, the two things there, the supply chain challenges that exist, memory, we hear about PCBs, I'm hearing more and more about, right? The printed circuit boards, which are so fundamental. But then you balance that with speed. They want it fast, but yet there are these longer lead times, right? Things being pushed out. How do you kind of balance that? And how accepting are they of the reality in the market today, which is, these lead times are getting longer and getting materials can be very challenging.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are accepting. I mean, we are challenged to fix those issues. So looking at, alternates and what can we do to manage through this together. There's definitely strategies that we're working on with our customers. We're not
Yeah.
accepting.
Yeah. And that's wrong term on my part. That
But to
was,
an extent, I know what you mean. We accept that this is reality. I think
yeah.
that's the only thing we accept. And now what are we going to do to get after it and solve it together?
Yeah. And that's the key, right? Solving it together rather than just having them saying, where's my stuff? And you're saying, it's coming. So, uh,
Right,
yeah,
right.
that doesn't work anymore. So,
No, no.
do you see any differences across the regions in terms of not just supply chain, but just the business and how it's, I hear Europe is kind of challenged in some ways, in some sectors, particularly automotive for Europe, which has always been hard. But do you see any regional differences across your footprint?
There's always some regional differences. I mean, China is especially, we've got the automotive in China, and you
Mhm.
probably have we've got industrial, automotive, medical in our China facility, but as it's a very competitive environment. That's
Mhm.
extremely competitive, and our China facility has just risen to the challenge. So
Mhm.
we'll continue to work with our customers to compete in the market. But every region has in North America we've got tariffs to deal with. So every region has a little bit of their own twist that we work through. So
Yeah. So then looking ahead, if you can look into your kind of, magic ball here, how do you see the EMS market in general? Maybe, I see your forecasting for next year, Kimball's is quite
yep.
positive, right? It's positive outlook.
Hmm.
Of course, all pro forma financials are always good looking, right? So, but what's your outlook and your view of the EMS industry, kind of the rest of this year and into 2027?
Sure. So instead of giving a forecast, I'm not going to forecast where our industry is going to go, but I can speak to trends. So
Right.
what I see as more trends is the broader solution support that we talked about for the complexity of the product that continues to get our customers' product continues to get more technical and more complex, and helping them solve that is going to be a differentiator. The demand for engineering support that we talked about, engaging earlier in the process, and more automation and digitization in the manufacturing environment is just continued to be key. We continue to invest in that area in AI and how that can help us react to all of the things we just talked about in terms of complexity with our customers, higher quality, speed, resiliency, de-risking, and all of that type of thing will
Mhm.
continue to, and I think that will be a trend not just for Kimball, but in our industry. But I think that those that are going to thrive in our business are going to be those that not only have operational excellence, but they have the ability to solve some of those broader problems that we talked about and challenges in terms of business and manufacturing, not just operational. So if we can, those of us that can combine it, we're going to thrive.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a I look at especially the big Western EMS who've come out. We just went through some earnings seasons, and everything has been generally positive, not just for Kimball, as I indicated before, but a
Yeah.
lot of the other large U.S. based ones. And it looks to have been a good year for EMS globally. And Obviously we're subject to more, you mentioned the tariffs here in North America, a lot of the geopolitical stuff that's going on and how that's driving different sectors. So, a lot of the influence are not the traditional ones that we used to have 20 years ago in the industry, right? We're much more subject to those, and even the environmental ones that are the requirements. You mentioned the sustainability that's so important and key to who Kimball is. So, all of those are kind of driving the industry these days. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, listen, I appreciate the time to come on. It's been a while since I've talked to anybody at Kimball, so I do appreciate you coming on, giving us the update. I love the new branding, the Kimball Solutions from Kimball Electronics. It does stand out. I remember years ago when you did break from the piano side and kind of separated the two businesses, right? So,
right.
yeah, that's been a while, but so it looks like it's a continued evolution. Like I said before, I'm always impressed with Kimball from execution side and the fiscal discipline that you guys continue to demonstrate. So I wish you nothing but continued success to you and Kimball, and hopefully you're willing to come. This was painless, and you're willing to come on again sometime.
For sure. It was a pleasure. Thanks, Eric.
Appreciate you. Thanks, Kathy.
Yep. Take care. Bye
You
now.
too.